Hola, querida familia de Magdala, bienvenidos a otro atardecer aquí en el mar de Galilea, aquí junto al monte Arbel, este gran monte que tenemos atrás. Y feliz día de Santiago, el apóstol, que si conocen a alguien que se llama Santiago, James, etcétera, etcétera, deseenles un feliz día de su santo y encomiéndenlos mucho hoy porque tienen ese mismo nombre de este gran santo en el que vamos a hablar hoy. Vamos a platicar un poquito de quién fue Saint James, su misión y esa hermosa amistad que él tuvo con Jesús, uno de sus mejores amigos, que estuvo presente para cosas muy importantes y muy bonitas y que tuvo una gran misión. Entonces, bueno, vamos a tener unos momentos de silencio, aprovechar este hermoso atardecer, el mar de Galilea, todo lo que vemos, y compartiremos juntos un poquito más de Santiago. Hello and welcome, Magdala family, to another sunset here by the Sea of Galilee. We have Mount Arbor right behind me, and we want to say happy feast of St. James. So if your name is James or Santiago or anything like that, happy feast day. We're celebrating here in Magdala. You have a wonderful namesake of whom we are going to talk about today. So enjoy with us a couple of minutes of silence, a couple of, centering, beginning your day is writing ours, but you're beginning yours. So enjoy these moments of silence, of some music, enjoy the paradise you're part of, as we learn from a man that walked the shores of here of Galilee and then took that beautiful message he received and took it to the shores of Spain. So we'll leave you here a moment of silence, and then we'll talk about more of who St. James is. Welcome back, Magdala family. So today is the Feast of St. James. And as you know, we have our wonderful James here, our director of the music ministry, the one who wrote the song that is coming out soon in English as well. So stay tuned for it. He wrote a song for Mary Magdalene. And how wonderful that we get to talk today about St. James. Today is his feast day, a great saint here of the church. And I wanted to share 3 instances of St. James that we can kind of take away and learn from him. And it's very beautiful that we get to celebrate him because I believe that he taught us 3 lessons. And, you know, Jesus had his like besties, the 12 apostles, and then he just happened to be very, very close to some of them. And I believe one of them was James because James was present at very pivotal times. But the first lesson that we can learn from St. James is do not delay the call. As you know, here in the Encounter Chapel, we have the image of the call. And you have Jesus walking on the sand. And he comes by the shore and he sees fishermen. And he calls them. Now, I think it's very important for us to think, oh, Jesus just saw random people. And then he said, come, as we say here, yalla, yalla, let's go. He wasn't like that. Jesus knew from the beginning of when he was going to come, of when he created them, that he was going to have this encounter with them. He knew. And there is this longing of Jesus' heart to meet finally the people that he longed for. For example, he knew that he was going to meet Peter. He knew everything about Peter, all the good, all the bad, all the drama. He knew it all. But he hadn't met him yet. Same with St. James. He knew who St. James was going to be for him, one of his besties, as I like to say, but he hadn't met him yet. And he comes to the shore and he sees him by the shore. And it says, I'm going to read it to you right here. Going on from there, he saw 2 brothers, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John. And in the boat was Zebedee, their father, mending their nets. He called them, and immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. There are 2 really big points here, is that they left immediately. Who was Jesus? What was the presence of Jesus that 2 men left their job and their father to go follow him immediately? There is this great love that I can only imagine that they must have felt from just the presence of Jesus, that they said, we have to follow him. There was something so desirable about Jesus, about who he was, that they followed him, that they wanted to leave immediately. So their first lesson is the urgency. I met Jesus. I experienced his love. I must go with him. This immediacy of the call, that they didn't think about it. They weren't like, oh, they were just answered the call. And they left something behind, something that had a great cost. You know, they left their father. And in the times, as you may know, it's, oh yeah, leave my dad and go to college, it's no big deal. But here, to leave your father is a big deal. You know, here people have generations and generations of traditions of, we know someone that, their whole family, 5 generations have made hummus in this place in the old city. Why? Because it is an honor and a privilege to continue your father's mission. And it's beautiful to think that these 2 men immediately left to answer the father's mission. And that mission was to be with Jesus. And the pain or cost that it must have taken them, but also the courage and the certainty. So that's the first thing that we learned from St. James, the urgency of knowing, I know the love of Jesus, I've encountered it, and I'm amazed, and I will follow him. And I know I have to surrender things to follow him, but it's surrendering something that I know will be of greater glory, to be part of the Father's mission. You know, they were sons of Zebedee, but they're also sons of God. So it's a beautiful reflection to the first lesson is an urgency to respond to Jesus and an abandonment of that call. Now, the next part is my favorite. The second lesson we want to learn is seeking a close relationship with Jesus. So, growing up, we were always taught that Jesus is your best friend. And I remember like saving a seat for Jesus at the table when I was little. And I was like, excuse me, don't sit here. Jesus is sitting here. Why? Because Jesus is our best friend. And St. James was present in a lot of important moments of Jesus's ministry. He was present in the healing of Peter's mother-in-law, at Jairus' daughter's, the rise of Jairus' daughter, the transfiguration, and in Gethsemane. Imagine those important moments of different things. One being a witness of Jesus. He saw all of his miracles. He was present. And in his faith, he believed. He encountered and he believed. And it's a privilege, that says we want to be close to Jesus. And Jesus is in the heart of all of us. So when we accompany friends in moments of prayer, moments of difficulties, we're accompanying them. And we're being witnesses of their love. When we celebrate one another, when we are good best friends of others, we get to be there for all the parts. Now imagine in Jesus' biggest suffering in Gethsemane, St. James was there. St. James was there to accompany Jesus. So he wasn't alone. He fell asleep, but we can't judge him for that. We've all taken a nap. But he was there for Jesus. In a moment of great suffering, where he knew he was going to suffer a lot for us, he was there, ready and accompanying Jesus. The transfiguration, seeing Jairus' daughter come to life, he was there. And it's an invitation for you to know Jesus called you. And he wants to be your best friend. Not only you be his, but he wants to be yours. He wants to be by your side. And for Jesus to invite you to Gethsemane is a big deal. Jesus wants to invite you to be there in him in his suffering. Because he trusts in your heart. He loves your heart. And he knows what you are capable of. You are his great apostle. And that's why he called you, because he knows what you're capable of. He knew what James was capable of. And he called him there to be there for him, his best friend. And last but not least, greatness is found in serving. Now, St. James, as we said, he left his father and everything, and then his mother said, from the gospel of today, please let them sit by your side. And she says, are you ready to drink my cup? Do you know what it means to be on my left and on my side? I've already called you, but do you have an understanding of this great call that I have? And St. James was a witness to all of the miracles of Jesus. He answered. And then after being in the shore and encountering Jesus at the shores, with his 2 feet, he went to other shores. And we know that he went to the shores of Spain. He's the patron saint of Spain. And he walked those shores, and he died a martyr when he came back. They beheaded him. But it's this call to greatness. Like we said, I'm glad that we have Mount Arbel behind us, because it is this call for greatness. This call that it was on purpose. There's not a coincidence that Jesus was on that shore. It was Jesus knew he was going to be there. And he looked for him there at the shore. And later he called him to be at the shore, going to different parts of Spain, spreading the good news that he was privileged enough to witness and speak about firsthand. So I invite you to think that you are like St. James. You were called on purpose. You were desired because Jesus created you with a heart for a mission. A heart for a mission to be close to him, to be his best friend. So that all that you learn and know and witness comes from him. That you can accompany him. and sitting by him and his best friend in his moments of suffering and his moments of joy and his miracles that we see in our everyday lives. He's saying, come follow me. Come to the shore. Take the next step with me because I called you for greatness. So I wanted to end in a quick moment of prayer. So prayer to St. James. O glorious St. James, because of your fervor and generosity, Jesus chose you to witness his glory in the mount and his agony in the garden. Obtain for us the strength and consolation in the unending struggle of this life. Help us to follow Christ constantly and generously, to be victorious over all difficulties, and to receive the crown of glory in heaven. Amen. So we're going to have a couple moments of silence so we can take in this prayer, and I invite you to invite St. James in this moment to have a moment of prayer with you. Hola, querida familia de Magdala, bienvenidos aquí a otro atardecer. Y bueno, vamos a platicar de Santiago. Y aquí tenemos a James, que es su nombre es Santiago, y es el día de su santo. Bueno, es Jaime, pero en inglés es James, entonces hoy es el día de su santo también. Les manda muchos saludos y gracias por todos los saludos que le mandan ustedes. Y bueno, vamos a hablar un poquito de San Santiago y 3 enseñanzas que podemos aprender de él. Y la primera es, no tengas miedo de decir sí. Para ustedes que han venido aquí a Magdala y han entrado al Duquín Altum, está la capilla de la llamada. Y vemos ahí Jesús junto al mar de Galilea y ve a estos hombres y los llama. Y es muy bonito pensar porque esto no fue por accidente, no fue casual que Jesús caminó por ahí y De la nada se encontró a alguien y dijo, sí, tú, te ves muy buena onda, vámonos. No, Jesús ya los había escogido desde antes. Él sabía por dónde él caminaba. Él sabía los corazones por los que iba para que fueran sus amigos, sus apóstoles. Él ya lo sabía. No, es muy bonito pensar que Jesús conoce nuestros corazones y lo capaz que son nuestros corazones. Entonces ahí va, caminando, y aquí dice, un poco más tarde, más adelante, Jesús vio a otros 2 hermanos, Santiago y Juan, hijos de Zebedeo, quienes estaban en la barca, junto a su padre, y remandaban sus redes. Jesús los llamó y ellos dejaron al instante la barca y a su padre y los siguieron. Y la verdad, qué fuerte declaración. Estos 2 hombres dejaron a su padre, que aquí, que es un pueblo de tradiciones, es un privilegio tomar el trabajo de mi padre. Es un honor poder hacer el labor que él hizo, porque es la manera que él se entregó, es la manera que le da gloria a Dios. Y vieron a Jesús, e imagínense, en la capilla del llamado no podemos ver el rostro de Jesús, pero ellos sí lo vieron. Y ese rostro de Jesús tuvo que haber dado una vista de amor inigual. Los tuvo que haber llenado con un amor fuertísimo, que dijeron, inmediato nos vamos. No es de que en 10 minutos, déjame hablar con mi papá, ahorita te llamo, a ver si... No, inmediato dejaron todo, hasta su papá. Y esto nos invita a pensar, ¿qué tiene Jesús? ¿Quién es Jesús? Que al conocerlo o tener un encuentro con él, me cambia la vida. Me cambia la vida y me dice, wow, tengo que dejar todo. Y no me quiero esperar, quiero ir a él. Por ese gran amor. Entonces la primera enseñanza que tenemos de San Santiago es ver el rostro de Jesús causa algo inmediato en mí. Y no es algo que tengo que pensar, es algo que ya existe en mi corazón. Seguir a Jesús ya existe en mi corazón porque Él creó mi corazón. Y Él sabe cómo llamar mi corazón. Entonces esa es la primera enseñanza que tenemos de San Santiago. La segunda es ser mejor amigo de Jesús. San Santiago fue uno de los mejores amigos de Jesús. Imagínense que él estuvo ahí para los momentos súper importantes de la vida de Jesús. Estuvo ahí, obviamente, en la llamada, cuando la hija de Jairo se murió. Estaba dormida, pero él estuvo ahí y vio el milagro. Con la mamá de San Pedro, también vio esa sanación. En la transfiguración, un momento importantísimo, súper fuerte, él estuvo ahí. No todos estuvieron ahí, pero él sí. Él estuvo ahí presente. Y en un momento tan fuerte para Jesús que fue Getsemaní, Él estuvo ahí. Él estuvo presente. Y eso que nos dice, Jesús nos invita a ser parte de su corazón, parte de sus mejores amigos. Y no porque dice, ay, sí, vente y a ver qué onda. No, como dijimos antes, Jesús llama a tu corazón con propósito. Él conoce tu corazón. Y Él sabía que Santiago tenía que estar ahí en esos momentos con Él. Porque Él conoció a Santiago y sabía que su corazón era necesario en esos momentos. Porque Él lo llamó a la gloria. Y Él sabía que Él tenía que estar presente para eso. Y necesitaba de Él en esos momentos. Entonces los invito a pensar que Jesús los necesita a ustedes. No solo los llama para, bueno, claro que nos llama para seguirlos, llamarlos, pero también porque Él necesita de nuestro amor. Porque nosotros vivimos en su amor. Y este amor lo compartimos naturalmente porque el amor de Dios da fruto. La amistad con Jesús da fruto. Entonces Él nos invita a estar cerca de Él. Que seamos sus mejores amigos. Y Él quiere confiar tanto en nosotros. Y Él confía 1000 en nosotros. Y quiere que nosotros confiemos igual. Entonces es la segunda enseñanza. Confiar, tener esta fe grande en Jesús. Y la última es un llamado al servicio. Después de ser literal llamado por nombre, en la playa, en la arena, y haber sido testigo de todos los milagros de Jesús y estar con él en su agonía. Jesús también lo llamó a ser un apóstol. Y sabemos que San Santiago, pues como conocemos, tenemos el camino de Santiago porque fue por toda España, declarando el amor de Dios, siendo testigo del amor de Jesús. Imagínense, uno de los mejores amigos de Jesús dijo a caminar. Lo conocí en la playa de Galilea y me voy a la playa de España y ahí voy a hacer lo que me llamó. Amar, a ser testigo. Y él murió, lo decapitaron ya de regreso aquí a Galilea, a Judea. Entonces, qué bonito. Él es el testimonio de tanta belleza, de tanto amor, que dijo, esto no se puede quedar aquí. Yo me voy con mis 2 pies, mis chanclas, chance mi burrito, no sé claramente, exactamente, pero me voy a la playa, porque lo conocí en la playa y me voy a la playa y voy a acompañar a Jesús de esa manera. Entonces, esas son las 3 enseñanzas que yo creo que podemos tener y aprender de San Santiago. Y como ustedes saben, está el camino de Santiago para tantos peregrinos que también hacen esa caminata de reflexión, de oración, y se dejan que ese momento, acompañando a Jesús, algo va a ser una transformación. Es igual abandonar todo para seguir a Jesús, para vivir ese amor, que no es fácil. No es fácil, estamos llamados a escalar el monte Arbel en una belleza, pero no es fácil. Pero Él nos creó con las capacidades de subir ese monte, de caminar en amor. Entonces quiero acabar con esta oración con ustedes el día de hoy, el día de San Santiago. Si conocen un Santiago, un Jaime, un James, un Diego, felicítenlos hoy. Y terminamos con esta oración. En nombre del Padre, el Hijo y el Espíritu Santo. Amén. Oh glorioso Santiago, porque de tu fervor y generosidad Jesús te escogió para ser testigo de su gloria en el monte y su agonía en el huerto. Obtén para nosotros la fuerza y consuelo y lo interminable lucha de esta vida. Ayúdanos a seguir a Cristo constantemente y generosamente, para ser vencedores sobre todo de nuestras dificultades y recibir la corona de gloria en el cielo. Amén. Nos vamos a dejar aquí un momento de silencio para que reflexionen nuestros 3 puntos y que vean que Jesús desea tanto de sus corazones, porque llamarlos a ustedes es a propósito y con mucho amor.